if you're playing at your buddy's house and all your friends get together for playing actual Magic the Gathering, and everyone brings a cheap deck that they threw together in an hour, and your buddy brings a deck that costs $750 and wins on turn 2 every single time, well, I assure you that what's going to happen to the guy that brought the $700 deck is that everybody's going to hold him down while somebody pours the hottest hot sauce in the fridge into his mouth until he agrees never to do it again. This is the Gothic Beach Bum, and I am here to talk about why I am stopping my MTG challenge for opening 1 pack a day for a year. There are a lot of reasons for this, and I'll have a bunch of sticky notes over here to the side just to keep me on talking points without going into too many rants about the state of Magic the Gathering. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first and biggest thing is that I do not like Commander in person, and nobody plays Standard. This has actually led me to quit playing the game a couple of times because most people really like Commander, and I don't. I do not like Commander. I have never liked Commander, and I will never like Commander. It is not a format that I want to play. It's that simple. I don't know why. It seems like the kind of thing that I would like, but for whatever reason, I just don't like Commander. Nobody playing Standard is not quite true, right? Arena's main format is Standard. However, I don't play at local game stores because anytime I try to go, it's like, oh, we're playing Modern, we're playing Commander, we're playing Pauper, we're playing, I don't know, like, God forbid, like, Alchemy format or something like that, right? Like, there's too many formats for Magic the Gathering right now that people play in real life, and none of them are the format that I want to play, basically. The only time I get to play Standard is pre-releases. If I can play one day of Magic in the format that I want to play, and it's with all new cards I've never seen, and realistically, I'm bad at building a deck on the fly. Like, I have to iterate and iterate and iterate over a period of time in order to be any good. Again, there's no way to play in person the way that I want to play, and in-person human contact, conversations, friends, yada yada yada, the whole 9 yards. That's what Magic the Gathering was all about for the longest time. And that brings me into my second problem with Magic, is that Arena is bad. Like, it's really bad. You know, as I've said, Magic the Gathering is about community. There is no sense of community on Arena. You can't talk to people, you can't interact with people. Like, you get some dumb emotes that have no way of being negative whatsoever. And everything is just overly curated because it thinks it wants to be Hearthstone, when realistically Hearthstone is Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering is Magic the Gathering, and it needs to stop trying to be something it's not. Arena is bad for Magic the Gathering. Like, even MTG Online is better than Arena, and MTG Online is absolute jank. That's really what it comes down to, is Arena is just, it's bad. It's polished, but it's bad. It's really bad for Magic. And the reason why it's bad for Magic has to do with, for starters, the power creep of the new sets is just ridiculous. Everybody on Arena seems to be running these just insane decks in both Standard, Ranked, and Casual that just win on turn 2 every single time. Like, I since Duskmourn launched, I played, like, probably 30 or 40 games, and I lost on turn 2 or 3 in every single one of them because I was trying to make decks that I thought were fun and interesting and made use of interesting mechanics, where it's just, that's not what the community does, because you don't have a way to really interact with people and let them know, hey bro, don't bring your turn 2 win deck into casual, right? If you're playing at your buddy's house and all your friends get together for playing actual Magic the Gathering, and everyone brings a cheap deck that they threw together in an hour, and your buddy brings a deck that costs $750 and wins on turn 2 every single time, well, I assure you that what's going to happen to the guy that brought the $700 deck is that everybody's going to hold him down while somebody pours the hottest hot sauce in the fridge into his mouth until he agrees never to do it again. That's the reality of how Magic the Gathering actually works as a community, is you have those moments where your buddy is just simply not following basic etiquette, and you can, reprimand them for it. Now, of course, it's a rather extreme example, but that's, well, suffice to say, that's how guys communicate with each other. That's why Arena is bad, and again, Arena is bad because nobody likes to play Standard, and I only like to play Standard. Now, Arena is bad for other reasons, but that's chiefly amongst it, is the lack of any meaningful interactions with other people. So, that also brings me into the next thing. The MTG release schedule. Now, I made a mistake here, because I bought Duskmourn for the old release schedule. I bought everything in advance. Right? I thought that cards were still getting released every 3 to 4 months, and that's what I bought for. So it cost me like $700 to get Duskmourn. And, I don't have really a way to recoup that money at all. And that's my fault. And that's okay that that's my fault. I can live with making that kind of mistake. It'll take me a month or two to recover, but it'll be okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. The schedule is just totally unsustainable. The average Magic the Gathering player can't afford to go out and buy enough cards to get a good deck every month and a half. Like, I can't afford to do that either. Like, it is insane, some of these cash grabs out here. Like, not to mention, that you've got this, which I never would have bought this if not for YouTube. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Like, because I will probably open the rest of this box on Patreon, but I feel like me continuing to make any Magic the Gathering content is disingenuous, because I am completely out of Magic the Gathering at this point. I have no interest in ever playing it again because of the current state of the game. And I genuinely do not trust that Wizards will be able to recover, because they just hired the same guy that ruined World of Warcraft. One of the biggest things that has been a pain point for me, of course, has been the money, because I have been trying to lose weight. And, well, as you can see on this blue scribble I have in front of me, losing weight is even more expensive than Magic the Gathering. If you've ever tried to lose weight before, you know exactly what I mean. It is expensive. I've been going to the doctor off and on for about a year now, trying to figure out something that works for me. I think I finally have something going in the positive direction, so that is good. Checkup Monday will tell me whether or not I have the right idea. We're hoping that it does, and if I'm losing weight, that'll be really cool. I would love that, because I have been wanting to lose weight for quite some time, and I just have not had the energy or the money or generally the willpower to do so until, well, really this last year or so. It's been It's it is a difficult thing to work up the nerve to do, because it involves giving up a lot of stuff, and that's just that's just how that goes. And overcoming that particular hurdle was rather difficult, especially for somebody who has ADHD, and your brain, when you have ADHD, is all about, you know, dopamine triggers, like, ooh, dopamine, 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 dopamine. All right, like, you need that reward structure. But I finally, the doctor has me on a medication that totally makes me just not want to eat, and that's cool. Like, I have been enjoying that. Like, it's helped my wallet, for starters, because I haven't needed to buy a lot of food. Though that'll help me recover from this mistake with Magic a lot faster. In fact, I've spent like less than a third of what I would normally spend on food has been spent since I got this prescription. It's actually kind of crazy. That's actually going to be a positive in the long run, but the medication is decently expensive, and insurance does not like it. So we'll see how that goes, because my dose is getting upped Monday, and it's probably going to be a lot more expensive. It's in the realm of buying a box, so fun stuff. Again, with the weight loss, weight loss is something that you really have to concentrate on. And then I did YouTube because I just needed something to do with my hands, basically. And I bit off far more than I could chew. Because weight loss is a full-time chore. And YouTube is a full-time chore. And Magic is a full-time chore. And, of course, I also have a career and all that good stuff, right? So, something has to go in that equation. And, well, it's going to be the one that is eating me alive the most, and that's Magic the Gathering. I have plenty of other things that I want to do for content that are not Magic, and that I'll get into that here in a minute. But there are a lot of other things that I want to do that are not Magic the Gathering, that I can do at a slower pace, that I can use to just simply enjoy my time on YouTube, rather than just frantically trying to challenge myself. And now the challenge did serve a purpose. I learned. And that was really the main purpose of Magic the Gathering, was to learn. And I said way back in one of the first few videos that Magic the Gathering was not important content for me, because it did not matter if it succeeded or failed. And that is still very true. I am okay with Magic the Gathering being the failure content. There are other things that I do care about that I don't want to be failures, and I haven't spent a lot of time working on them, for a number of reasons. Time, money, etc., 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 right? Like making a video a day is very time consuming. Even though I have cut them down to the small amount of time that I spend on them, these 10-minute videos still take, like for a 10-minute video, it still takes about 30 minutes to make it. All in all, right? So that's because I have to film it. I have to edit it, make sure it watches, make sure it's good, make sure it's going to upload. And, when it's all said and done, 30 minutes to make it, about 45 minutes to get it total from start to finish, including transcoding and uploading. And there's been days where I have gotten off of work and I just laid down and went to sleep, because my brain was so tired that I could not function. And all of my longer videos where I talk for 30 minutes about a single pack, those were all on days where I felt really, really good and had the energy, and I also had good experiences with the game. You'll notice there weren't very many of those. I bit off more than I could chew. Realistically, that's all that is. And I just simply need to slow down my content schedule, because I went absolutely balls to the wall with my very first foray into YouTube, and I really should have had literally any amount of YouTube experience before doing what I tried to do with Magic the Gathering. So, again, challenge failed. I definitely I am definitely owning this failure. I'm not going to try to do a video a day challenge again for quite some time. I probably will again in the future, after YouTube is the kind of thing that I am doing on such a frequent and regular basis that it feels normal, and I'm not just sitting there staring at a card pack that I intend to work on today. Because again, the ADHD, sometimes you don't have the wherewithal to just start jumping into something. So I would set the pack out, and it would be there staring at me, just driving anxiety through the roof of oh god, I need to make this video. Because if I didn't have it there staring at me, the video wouldn't get made. And I just simply need to do not do that. It's very, very unhealthy. The other content that I have, I think I've got kind of worked out what I want to do with that, and what kind of schedule I want to have and everything. If you notice, I didn't even put up a creative writing video this week because between the Elderfield video that I really wanted to do and the Magic, I would have recorded that during the time that I was doing Magic, but I had to do Magic instead, and that's another reason. We're going to go with this one. So I want to make game content for Elderfield, like I say, and other games. So Elderfield is a lot of fun. It is just it's play at your own pace. It doesn't have the over monetized corporate bullcrap that you have with Magic the Gathering, where it's oh yeah, go buy a pack, buy a pack, buy a pack, buy a pack, and you just constantly feel the need to get more and more cards. I can play it at my own pace. I can, more importantly, edit at my own pace, which will involve me working in bursts of anywhere from 20 minutes to get one little scene done, or 6 hours straight, depending on what level of concentration I have during that particular day. And that particular freedom right there is going to be my big kicker. I do enjoy editing, so it's not like editing is a daunting task or anything like that. Sometimes it takes me an hour or two to work up the nerve to start editing, but that's just the ADHD talking. You just push through that and you're good to go, right? That's just you eat the frog, as it were. So that's what I was having to do with Magic the Gathering. Of course, the problem is eating the frog requires a lot of willpower, and then of course the willpower for that sometimes leads into me going back to the weight loss problem. I want to minimize the need for exercising that as much as possible, because the less you exercise it, the more of it you have. Just fun fact there. The games that I want to do content for are, of course, Elderfield. I also want to make Satisfactory content, because anyone who knows me or has any inkling of what my Steam library looks like, I've got more hours in Satisfactory than I do everything else, and Satisfactory 1.0 just came out. I would have actually been making content for it if it hadn't been for Magic the Gathering. But Magic the Gathering kind of ate up all the time that I would have had for, just talking about Satisfactory. I probably won't start making content for that anytime soon, because I'm just trying to get through the game, and I just hit Tier 9 a few days ago, because basically what I do for that is I'll go and I'll make some line, and then I'll just let the game idle for 12 hours, because that's how you play Satisfactory. So I'll just I'll just let stuff go for 12 hours, so I don't have to actively think about or do anything, and I really only play the game in 20 or 30 minute bursts. I've also got other games that I want to play. There's just There's honestly too many to name, right? But those are the big two that I really want to play and put on YouTube. I'll also probably play World of Warcraft. I've got a buddy that plays, and I've been thinking about jumping into that a little bit more. But I had a recent foray into the new expansion, and other than the crafting system, the game's kind of boring. So I may or may not play that. I'll play that particular content by ear because again, the community aspect of World of Warcraft is what I really want out of it anyway. So doing it on YouTube could add to community, maybe not. I don't really know. Other stuff that I want to do, such as Gothic homemaking. You know, I mentioned the creative writing for my choose your own adventure game. You know, I just spend a couple hours writing that in any given week, so it's not that big of a deal. But I didn't get to put up a video today or this week because, well, I was too busy with Magic the Gathering. And Magic the Gathering is not my main content, even though it has been my main content thus far. It is not actually in my head my main content, and I want to do other things. Like my board game, for example. I talked about that in a video in Bloomborough. And again, every single time I sit down, I have sat down with my notebooks that have all my notes in it multiple times at like 10 o'clock at night and been like, yeah, I'm going to get this done. And then I realize, oh crap, I haven't made my Magic the Gathering video today. So I go make that right quick, and afterwards, it's just like, well, you know, I really need to go to bed. And you know, it's been a bad cycle. Again, being able to do things at my own pace and in the order that I want to do them is going to be, well, it's going to be freeing. It's going to be freeing for me. As far as Gothic homemaking goes, that's something that I actually wanted to do at the very beginning, before I even started the YouTube channel. And I kind of do stuff like that every once in a while, like just on my own. I'm really big on like the Halloween shopping and whatnot. In fact, I saw this thing at Walmart. Check this out. Like, this is a snow globe with a skull in it and like black glitter, and it was only like $10. So that was an impulse buy, and well. Suffice to say, I would rather spend money on stuff like that than Magic the Gathering any day of the week. I was talking to my mother the other day. She apparently has also, completely independently, without me ever talking about it with her, she has gotten into Gothic homemaking. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, I was like incredibly jealous for a minute because she is like way better at it than I am. And I was just like, my God, I need to like step up my game here. I'm going to definitely be doing some of that. Even though I don't have a lot of space in my apartment, it has been something that I do for myself at every possible opportunity. And it is something that I have been wanting to put on YouTube. So I think that it's going to be something that I put on YouTube going forward here. Starting fairly soon. In fact, as soon as next weekend, depending on whether or not my Halloween tree gets here on time. Of course, it's going to be kind of lame because I don't have a lot of like fancy baubles or anything like that. Like, I don't have Christmas balls or whatever. I do have some string lights, and I do have some fun garland for it that I bought from Michael's, and I'm gonna use the owl for my YouTube channel as the tree topper, because the owl that's sitting on my desk in the picture, that's just a Beanie Baby. His name is Aaron. If you are interested in getting one of them, you can probably find him on eBay pretty easy. They made a lot, and they don't, like, I know he's like a discontinued one now, or like a few seasons old, but I wish I had bought more of them at the time, because he is really cool. That's what my YouTube channel icon actually is a Beanie Baby. Again, Gothic homemaking, board game, writing, and of course I want to be able to play video games on YouTube. Just all stuff. It's very eclectic and is what it is. And I went into this challenge enjoying Magic the Gathering, and I am coming out of it with the knowledge that I have firmly put Magic the Gathering behind me and do not want to keep playing. Also, in the course of this whole thing, apparently I crossed 5,000 subscribers. Like, I had no idea that I had crossed 5,000 subscribers until one of my buddies said something to me about it. It's really weird, right? Because most of my views on these individual packs, they get like 40 views, which, you know, is not what I would expect for having 5,000 subscribers. So clearly my subscribers don't like these videos either. And it is a mercy to both me and you. I don't know. Again, doing Magic content feels disingenuous to me, considering that my current opinion of the game is that I do not want anything to do with it. Well, maybe not anything to do with it, but I do not want to play it. So, do you, my subscribers, for any of you who have made it this far into the video without clicking away, do you want me to do set reviews for sets that come out? Because I am absolutely willing to go to pre-releases and pick up every set that comes out in perpetuity, because that's actually pretty cheap, and it's only like, you know, an evening of playing Magic. It's not very time consuming, and I could just keep doing that forever. I could do that, and I can see that being basically my only continuing path forward with Magic the Gathering content, because I don't want to do much of the rest, and it would basically be, you know, do pre-release, talk about the set, and then make a video of making a deck out of the stuff that I would get from the pre-release, and, you know, like the kind of thing that a regular human being would do for Magic the Gathering whenever they first start. Do I make that content, or do I just let Magic drop? That is actually for my viewers to decide. That is entirely for my viewers to decide. Because as for the rest of it, I am going to be doing other content that I care about a lot more than Magic, other content that is going to be better than Magic, other content that is going to be more fun for me and you than Magic. And more importantly, it's going to appeal to a number of people rather than just one very small, narrow group of one single individual hobby. Let me know down below. That's my biggest question about this going forward. Have no doubts that there will continue to be content on this channel. There will absolutely continue to be content on this channel. In fact, there will be a lot of content on this channel. I just am going to slow down my release schedule to something that is much more sane and conducive to, well, being in my 30s and having a life. That's really all there is to it. I just simply need to, like, back out of doing daily videos so that, you know, if I have a day where I just simply can't do anything, it's okay for me to have that day where I can't do anything. I think that's all I've got. I really think that that's all I've got for this. This has been the Gothic Beach Bum, and I will be back. Probably not tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I might be able to make my I might actually be able to make my creative writing video tomorrow. That would be cool. Yeah, I think I will put out the Choose Your Own Adventure recap for tomorrow. So I will be back tomorrow, but probably not same bat time, definitely same bat channel.